Is it possible that the iPhone X did in fact fail? Hey there friends on YouTube, my name's Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. Blah, 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 blah. Commercial over. Ming-Chi Kuo, who is one of the top prognosticators of Apple insider knowledge, released a report yesterday that said that the iPhone X may in fact be discontinued as early as possibly the summer, or just after the summer, of 2018. That's this year. Now remember, the iPhone X didn't come out but 3.5 months ago. So this is a little strange, don't you think? I've done a ton of videos about the iPhone X. One thing that I know from doing all of those videos is that the phone has been, shall we say, divisive. Between the notch and the Face ID and the no touch ID and the no headphone jack and the new gesture-based stuff, I mean, maybe it was enough for enough people to pause for a moment and say, Apple sells 8 different models of the iPhone. I don't have to choose the $1,000 one. And it seems like a lot of people didn't. Apple doesn't release specific numbers about how many units of what phone are sold, but I think there are 3 reasons in my head why the iPhone X may in fact be discontinued if that is in fact the case. 1. Apple was expecting to sell about 80-something million iPhone Xs. They only sold about 60-something million. A 20 million phone shortfall might not seem like, well, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. If you don't sell a quarter of what you hope to sell, then you're probably not good. That has to lead us to the question about the price. After doing as much coverage of the iPhone X as I have done, I know that there were a lot of people who were just like, I tried the iPhone X for a week or 2 weeks or 2 days or whatever, and I took it right back and I got a Note 8 or an 8 Plus or whatever they got. Something about that phone was turning people off. It wasn't everybody, of course. Some people love their iPhone Xs. However, this is sort of uncharted territory for Apple. As far as I know, Apple has never been in a position where the phone that is brand new, the super new hotness Apple iPhone product, doesn't outsell all the rest of everything. But in fact, the iPhone X only accounts for about 20% of all iPhones sold in Q3 of last year. Now some people are saying, well, you know, it wasn't out for the whole quarter, so how can you... The iPhone 8 wasn't out for much longer, but the iPhone 8 sold about 35%, if you count the 2 models together, of the iPhone sold in that period. If you look at the other end of the spectrum, down to the iPhone SE, 6S, 6S Plus, those phones also combined sold 20%. And the iPhone 7 is in the middle there somewhere. I would venture to guess that if your brand new, super futuristic, awesome new device sells percentage-wise as much as the oldest phones that you're selling, then something is rotten in the state of Cupertino. It's quite possible that the folks over at Apple, in that big spaceship donut thing that they have, may in fact still be under the sway of their own reality distortion field. Maybe the price, all that different stuff was just enough to get people to think, I think I'll go with the 8. Or I think I'll go with the 8 Plus. Or hey, the 6S and SE, they're still pretty darn good phones. I've heard it in the comments of some of my videos. I think there's probably some truth to it. The final reason that I think the iPhone X may be on the chopping block is one that's strictly on supply side and profit margin. Back when the iPhone X was released, it was stated that Samsung was charging Apple between $120 and $130 per OLED screen. This is not a Samsung gets Apple kind of situation, except for the fact that they were the only company that could make the OLED screens in the quantities that Apple needed in order to be able to launch this phone. So they could pretty much name their price. If you want to contrast, the 5.5-inch screen that the iPhone 7 Plus used, the LCD screen, only cost between $45 and $55. So, maybe there's a $75 difference. That's $75 that Apple is putting out per phone, more than they would have to in previous years. So it could be that Apple just decided, you know what? We've just invested a ton of money in LG's ability to manufacture OLED screens, and we're on our way toward becoming independent of the need for Samsung. So we're gonna cut ties with this phone and start fresh. There's reported to release 3 new phones next year. If the reports are to be believed, they all look generally iPhone 10-like, 6.5-inch, 6.1-inch, and 5.5-inch. And the 6.1-inch is actually going to be an LCD screen. It's going to be a little bit lower priced model, around $700-ish, while the others will have OLED screens and they'll be the more premium models. Now, when Apple has done sort of low rent models and before, like the iPhone 5C, it didn't go so well. So I don't know if making a lesser iPhone is really going to be the thing that they need to do, but that's a topic for another day. Comes back to the question. This is the only way that I can think about it. If a company releases a product and three or so months after the product is released, there are leaks or reports or announcements or whatever that product is going to be discontinued before that product is even a year old, that to me says failure. What the reasons are for that failure, I don't know. It could be any of the reasons that I stated here. It could be any other reasons. But you cannot tell me that the iPhone 10 has been a ringing success if only 20% of the iPhones sold have been iPhone 10s, and there's talk of discontinuing the model just as the new car smell wore off. I was a fan of the iPhone 10. I decided that it wasn't something I wanted to keep my money invested in, and I went other directions, but I did like the phone. It's quite possible that the iPhone 10 was in fact a beta product. I don't know. All I know is this could be Apple's wake-up call to say, you know what, we need to listen to our customers a little bit more and give them a little bit of what they want, as opposed to going on with this like, you don't know what you want until we give it to you mentality. Or if they continue on this path, it might just be another step down the path toward, how should we say, insignificance. I'd hate to see that happen. I am an Apple fan, but what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. Is the iPhone 10 a failure? Do you believe the reports that it's going to be discontinued? If so, what does it mean? I want to hear you down in the comments. Let's have a boisterous discussion. Thanks so much for being here. My name's Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest, it hurts. Until the next time, I'm out.